Hi, I'm Gary White for Channel 6, Central Kentucky Television, and I'm here with Danielle Hagler with the Nelson County Extension Office. She's the 4-H agent, and behind us we have a lot of activity going on. We have a lot of 4-H activities, and we have some open class activities that we'll talk about as well, but you're going to tell us about the 4-H activities that are going on and what's happening here today.
So County Fair is a super busy time for 4-H. Really every time is a super busy time, but what's really nice about County Fair is it gives youth an opportunity to kind of show off their culminating projects. So they've worked hard all year, learned a lot of really nice skills, and then they bring and demonstrate those here at the County Fair. So kids can enter in lots of different categories, from photography and arts to cooking and horticulture. And what's really neat is if they win here, they have the opportunity to move on to State Fair. So some of our classes are county only. So we have like the Marshmallow Catapult. That's a project that some of our science, engineering, and technology robotics kids have worked on. And we wanted an opportunity for them to display their projects and compete. So those won't move on to State Fair, but they get an opportunity to show off their skills here as well.
And they look neat.
Yeah, they're super cool. And what I'm excited about is we give kids an opportunity to demonstrate what they've learned from Cloverbud age up to seniors. Our Cloverbuds are 5 to 8 years old, and our seniors, they're the ones that kind of finish out in their 18th year. Our Cloverbuds is a non-competitive category, so those youth are recognized with a ribbon. They still get a premium. I like to say the more you learn, the more you earn. So the more projects they enter, the more ribbons they get, and the ribbons are associated with a dollar value. So we have some kids that, they take their ribbons and their money that they get and they save it and invest it to work on projects in the future, and some of them even save it for college. So the more they learn, the more they earn, and they demonstrate what they've learned by completing the projects. In 4-H, it's curriculum-based. So they have the opportunity to go through step-by-step stuff. Some of them do it independent study, and some do it within the club kind of context. But we hope that we have hundreds of projects entered this year, and we usually take about 100 projects on to State Fair. So we have tons of Cloverbud projects, tons of juniors and seniors. If people have the opportunity to come out during State Fair, Samuels Hall, which has been newly renovated, it's wonderful out here. It's one of the only air-conditioned spaces at Fair. So they can come into Samuels Hall, check out some of the 4-H exhibits, see the work that our youth have been doing. They do a wonderful job. And think about all the work that goes into it, from volunteers, from curriculum, and the time that the kids put in. When you look at that work, it's amazing. Especially some of our art pieces, some of our electricity projects. It's amazing what these kids are able to do within a program year.
And also the people who are teaching them all these things, they're volunteers as well that work with you to teach these expertise skills, right?
Yes, 4-H is a youth-adult partnership, so we really work hard to recruit volunteers who have wonderful skills. Those volunteers will take time to teach kids, very, very detailed stuff. What's nice about 4-H and working for a cooperative extension, we do a little bit of everything, but we don't have to know everything. We just need to know the people that do. So we have wonderful volunteers. For example, our photography group, they have learned how to shoot from perspective, the rules of 3. They did a gallery night at our office, and they even have projects that you can buy at our office. So those kids learn about, the composition of photography, the business of photography, and the creativity of photography. So, and our volunteers help lead all that. Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have hundreds of exhibits here that you said. Now, how many, they're going to be ranked, right? And then will they all have the chance to move on, or only the ones that win the Nelson County Fair?
Okay, so in 4-H we do something called the Danish system, and the best way I can explain the Danish system is kind of like a grade. In school, more than one person can get an A. So in 4-H you have a division, so the division might be arts. Within that division there's a class, so it might be junior watercolor drawing. So the judges will look at all the junior watercolor drawings, and they will kind of rank them: blue, red, white, or they might need to be moved to another category if they didn't fit the category. So more than one kid can get a blue ribbon, more than one kid can get a red ribbon. Now, after they have ranked who gets blue and red, they'll look at all of those top blue ones and they'll pick one for purple, and that's the champion. And the champion is the one that fits all the State Fair categories. It meets or exceeds the standards for that project, and that's the one that gets to move on to State Fair.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. So you can come in here, and after today, because today is we're kicking off the Nelson County Fair. It's Monday, and today you're actually doing the judging, so they'll all be judged, they'll all be displayed. You can kind of judge for yourself when you come in here and check it out, right?
Yeah, and then also throughout this week we'll have some livestock shows. So we'll have a youth dairy show and a youth beef show. We have a pig show and an open beef show as well. So we encourage people to come out to the fair, check out the things that Extension's doing, and if you are ever interested in helping kids learn these skills, 4-H is always looking for knowledgeable volunteers. Our volunteers with project clubs, they usually give about 2 to 3 hours a month, and it's about a 6-month commitment. So if you're ever interested, always stop by the Extension office or give me, Danielle Hagler, a call at 502-348-9204.
Fantastic. I'm going to talk with Danielle about the 4-H class here at Samuel Hall, and be sure to stop in this week and check it all out. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
I'm here now with Gloria Bowlin, who is actually the Kentucky State 4-H president. She's from Nelson County, and you're the first Nelson Countyan to be the Kentucky State 4-H president. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's exciting serving in this role, being a role model to 4-Hers across the state.
Fantastic. Now, how long have you been involved with 4-H?
I actually have been involved in 4-H my whole life. My older siblings joined 4-H when I was just a little baby. So I've grown up in the Nelson County 4-H program, participating in all sorts of program areas and at district and state level as well.
Fantastic. Now, we're here for the displays at Samuel Hall. What did you actually submit this time?
So I actually submitted a leadership project, which was a resume, and a forestry project on Kentucky state tree, the tulip poplar.
Now, have you submitted something each year?
I have. It depends on the year how many projects I enter. This is kind of the lowest that I've entered, just 2. Usually it's about 5 or 6 projects.
Well, you've been busy with something else.
Yes.
Because the election for the state president, we said, was just in June, so it just kind of started. And what do you foresee occurring? How long is it for, a year?
For a year. The next election will be June 2020, and that is when the current officers will retire.
And what do you expect to be doing over this next year with regard to the Kentucky State 4-H?
So the president actually has set roles, and the officer team as a whole has set roles and responsibilities that we fulfill. We serve at the state fair, handing out ribbons to 4-Hers and just promoting the 4-H program in Cloverville there in the state fair. And then as the president, I actually serve on the state ag board and on the state fair board as well.
Okay. So what do you hope to accomplish personally for yourself by the time this year is done?
Personally, I just want to be a role model to 4-Hers across the state. I've looked up to state 4-H officers since I found out what they were at 12 years old at the state fair. And so just being an inspiration and positive role model to youth in 4-H.
Fantastic. And again, this is Gloria Bowlin, who is now the Kentucky State 4-H president here from Nelson County. Good luck with your submissions.
Thank you.
I'm here now with Grayson Library, who is one of the people who submitted for the 4-H here at the Nelson County Fair, and it's a wind
turbine generator.
Okay.
Right.
So what made you decide to do this wind turbine generator?
Well, I've always been fascinated with green energy. When I was little, I got a kit called a powerhouse, and it came with a very, very small version of this, as well as solar panels. And so I decided, I was like, when we have a big windmill at our house, but it's not hooked up to generate anything. So I was like, why not go ahead and start working on one?
Absolutely.
So we got this from a kit, kind of, and but this frame is completely put together from scratch. Took some 2x4s and a 6x6, and now we have a turbine on a very small stand. We'll move it once we get back and put it up somewhere higher so it gets better wind.
Okay. So when you learned about this, you said that your dad helped you a little bit with it too?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And how much energy would something like this potentially be able to generate?
It can definitely charge a lawnmower battery. I don't know how quickly, but it will generate a good amount of energy. This one by itself probably won't be able to power, like, let's say your house, but it will definitely power maybe a battery charger for lawnmowers or car battery charger, something like that.
Now, and we're talking about energy because there's lots of talk about needing some different sustainable energy, which this would be wind is one of them. How is it powered itself? besides, is it just the wind, or is it like on a battery? How's it actually powered?
This is purely wind, and it was actually, I set it up in front of a fan in our house, a slightly smaller fan, and it didn't necessarily go, so it needs a little bit, but once I got it started, it went for much longer than it would like in this room. So like now that it's stopped, in front of that fan, it probably went for at least 2 times as long.
And then the energy is stored in a battery pack? Is that how it works?
Yes, I actually didn't bring the battery, hook it up yet, because
In theory, that's how it works.
And yeah, so here is this box here is a power controller. So what it does is it takes the AC current generated from the generator inside the turbine, and it goes into this, and it gets converted into DC current instead of AC current. DC is direct current. And this is the black cable's the negative line, and the red would be the positive line, and once I hook those up to a battery, it would complete the circuit and start to fill it up.
Got the power. Very good. So how many of these do you think you would need to generate your household energy needs? Did you look into that?
I have not yet looked into that.
But it is possible.
It is definitely possible, yeah. I mean, my general guess would probably be somewhere over 10, but maybe no more than 30.
Okay. And do you think you'll continue with this process? After doing this, did it make you more interested? Did it kind of less interested, appease your interest? What to do?
I would say I'm a little bit more interested. It was definitely a fun project to do. Yeah.
Very good. And I know I was just out in California, and they have fields and fields of these things out there. Have you seen this? So it is working in some environments already.
Yeah, it is. They're starting to regulate them a little bit more because there's a problem with them affecting bird habitats, but it's definitely still usable in some areas, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
All right, I'm now here with Elena Miller, who is another one of our 4-Hers who has submitted, and you've submitted 60 entries, you said, right?
Yes, about that much.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes, it took a lot of time.
Absolutely. And now we're around the flowers, because you can also submit flowers, and these are actually your flowers, right? You want to hold them up there for me? What are they?
Are zinnias, miniature zinnias.
Miniature zinnias. Now, why'd you decide on these?
Well, I love flowers, but some of the flowers are just way too big to grow and too much time. And zinnias are so much beauty in a small package.
Absolutely. And what color is that?
It's kind of a purplish magenta color.
Okay, and did you pick that color particularly?
Yes, I love that color, and it's really vibrant.
Yeah, it's very nice. Good job. Now, how long did it take you to decide on what 60 projects you were going to do, and how long did it take you to do them?
Well, I've been working since probably May, at least probably 6 or 7 hours a week. I love the fair, and I just made a list and just checked them off one at a time.
Fantastic. Now, these are your flowers, right? You also have some other flowers, and you have some other photographs. What else did you submit?
Well, I also entered some floor plans for my bedroom and home environment.
Really?
Yes, and I made a fairy garden.
Okay, so floor plans, how was that difficult?
I used 2 programs. The first program I used was very easy to use, and because it gave you step-by-step directions on how to move the furniture and everything. And then the second one was harder, so I had to look up some videos on how to use it.
And I guess you need to know some math and all that kind of stuff, geometry and what have you, right?
Yes, it took a lot of adding because you had to do the scale, and you had to decide where the furniture went and how big your room was going to be.
So that was a lot of work. Good job.
It was, but it all turned out wonderful, and it was super fun.
Well, congratulations on getting all that completed, and good luck with everything.
Let's hope I come home with a blue ribbon.
That's right. And this is your second year doing it?
Yes, this is my second year.
Will you be back next year?
Definitely.
Okay. Already working on your projects?
No, but some of the stuff like the garden, that'll already be done.
So you already did the groundwork. Good job, and good luck.
Let's hope so.